What's going on? What's going on, man? It's your boy Richard Fake TV, man. We back in the building. We back working. I'm actually happy to be here with y'all. I got a special guest for y'all, a human DJ. His name, Human DJ. Pop the shit, dog.
Greetings.
Greetings.
It's great to be here, sir.
Great to be here. How you doing?
Good.
I like the energy. I like the energy. I like the energy. So I actually found out about this young man. I was one day just walking down Peach Street, and I heard somebody playing the trombone. Was it the trumpet or the
Trumpet, yeah.
The trumpet. And then I heard somebody singing. And I looked, I seen this guy on the ones and twos, man. I mean, he looked like Stevie Wonder. So that leads me to my first question. Was Stevie Wonder somebody that you kind of looked up to?
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just one of many amazing musicians that daily inspire me to do better every day. Yeah.
So are you a DJ slash artist? Or are you like a DJ in the club DJ?
It's actually interesting. The reason I have DJ in the title of my name is literally just because I'm by myself playing music. But in all actuality, I'm just using a loop pedal and a keyboard and doing loops, just as Ed Sheeran does, or a lot of different modern artists these days do, in terms of in order to kind of like accompany myself and keep people engaged. And then the DJ element really comes into play in that I'm playing exclusively covers. It's all covers, and I'm always trying to keep people dancing. So I might as well be a DJ. But since we're talking details right now, the reason I'm not like a real DJ is there's no computer. I can't just play any song anywhere because I have to learn it first. So if I haven't learned it, if I haven't learned the words, if I haven't like studied that song, you can't hear it, or at least you're not going to hear a good version. So that's kind of that's what I do. Is I do a live looping performance show.
But it's like real art. Like it's really art. I mean, for you to say like you can't call yourself a DJ, but I feel like you're better than certain DJs because like you're performing for us.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
I like to think
I like
that.
to think so too.
That's what's up.
That's why he here today because he's better than most DJs. I mean, well, I'm not taking away
different.
from different. He's different from most DJs. I mean, he's better than most DJs, but he's different from most DJs as well. So when did you separate yourself?
Well, the truth of it is that I never invested in computers ever in my music life. I always loved playing trumpet and piano, and the computer was always something that I used to get a job done, but I never was like, I want to spend more time on this. I was always jumping to not spend time on it and to just play. So if I was smarter, I would have become more tech savvy and bought some turntables in college and really learned how to actually DJ, and that could have been a whole career. What I've done instead of doing that is kind of used my live looping skills and live entertainment skills to do something similar. And to me, it's more satisfying. I enjoy playing the instruments. And then especially with myself coming out with an album soon, it's that ability to live perform everything is indispensable. And I think it's something that I love seeing live music. It's a pleasure to play it. And while it might be more profitable for me if I left behind and embraced the current technology, I don't know. Maybe it's not a rational decision, but it's what I want to do, so I do it.
Yeah, but what you're doing right now is good though, because you're separating yourself from everybody else in the game.
I've ended up doing that. Yes.
Like when people know you. When I came here, they was like, "Who you interviewing today?" "Oh, I'm interviewing a human DJ." They were like, "Oh yeah, the guy that be performing outside the street." Yeah, him. Yeah. So you're doing good, and I love the way how you market yourself. Where are you from?
I was born in California, and then I've lived in many places throughout my life.
Yeah, I can relate to you. I was born in Chicago, and I lived in many places throughout my life. So I can't really just tell one person like where I'm from. But you shared something with me. You started this music journey in New Mexico. So explain that story. Tell us how that happened. How did you end up in New Mexico?
Well, my parents are engineers. If we're gonna go this deep, yes.
Okay, let's go. Because they want to know who you are.
Yeah, so sure. Yeah. Basically, my parents are scientists,
and
so they worked for the national labs in New Mexico. And when they were there, obviously, I lived with them, and that was kind of why I was there in the first place. And we lived there for 8 years. So I moved when I was 10, and when I was there, my dad was adamant, like, you need to get piano lessons because that's a kind of great thing to do as a young kid to get started. I took to it. I'm no prodigy. It wasn't like I was going out of there and like stellar, nothing. But I did love to do it. I would practice on my own time, and I learned songs by myself and stuff. So that's kind of really where playing instruments started. And it was only then after when we moved to California, I was 12, and I think I messed that detail up earlier. So it was 12 when I moved.
Yeah,
and so I was in the 4th grade, and they had a band program at the school. And that was like one of those, I was like, oh, this is too cool. To play instruments loudly, like with other kids my age, is like, this is perfect. So the first day I walked in, I was like, I want to play an instrument. And the only reason I chose trumpet is because I thought my uncle had one. So that way I'd be able to practice. It makes no sense, but I still play trumpet.
No, it makes a lot of sense though, because it got something to do with your creative mind today. Because when you're performing and you own a piano, and I don't know the correct terms to use, but when you're on the piano playing the piano, and you got your eyes closed like my boy Stevie Wonder, my boy Ray Charles, you get to playing the trombone. That all like has something to do with who you are today.
Oh, absolutely.
So, tell me about the Boston experience, though. When did you move to Boston?
So basically, I went to Berklee College of Music, an incredible music school.
Music school, okay, that's dope.
Yeah.
So this is nothing that like you went to school for this. You actually know about music.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, I've practiced a lot. I'm always practicing, and I went to Berklee, and Berklee is really the reason I'm here today. Okay. Is because before I went to Berklee, I was pretty average. In all that, I was like a jazz head. I was a jazz nerd. I listened to Dave Brubeck, Lee Morgan, Freddie Hubbard, a bunch of awesome dudes. And I was just a zealot. I was like, I want to play the most killing trumpet solos ever. Like, I love Wynton Marsalis and all these guys that were just intense. And so I didn't really think, my musical sphere was pretty narrow. It was like just jazz, and that's about it. I rarely listened to hip hop. I loved Ice Cube. So I had some hip hop that I loved. And so I was between my jazz and the hip hop. That's all I needed. I just listened to that all the time. And then when I went to Berklee, I found there was the kids that looked like me and were kind of like me. And they were cool, but we were boring. We were stiff, because we were all like these like guys talking about this music that was ancient. And all obsessed with how like cool Miles Davis was, which is there's no problem with that. But it comes to the first day of school and there's this jam session, and that's when I really got hip to the fact that there's a whole gospel music scene. Because let's be real, I grew up in a white suburb in California, so I was never around musicians that put in their energy to be spiritually uplifting. In that energy at all. Like, I was around musicians that if they were good, it's because they were making money with it. Yeah. The idea of getting good to help people was so cool. Yeah. And then on top of that, their experience was totally different than mine. They like learned instruments because their mom threw them on the instruments. And a lot of them were not even enthusiastic to do it at first. Yeah. They were just like, no one else is playing drums here. At the church or in other places. It's not even just church, it's just in that community. There was like a need to have something make the day feel better. So then after that, I was like, man, if I'm going to do this, there's really no sense in staying with these jazz kids at this jazz table. Like, we can sight read and be all technically cool and all, but they've got the cool shit. So it was from then on that I was like, okay, I'm just going to learn what they're doing. And I even sat down with the dudes. They would like ignore me, like, you're awkward, you're weird, just get away, But that's really like, at Berklee is where I was like, I just always worked to be more understanding, appreciative, and to be able to just play with musicians like that. Because I was like, if I'm playing with dudes like that, then I can't complain. Life is good. Yeah. And ever since then, my whole life has really just been about, when I hear something really good, learning how to do it, being able to do it as best as I can, making it personal, and then just being able to keep playing with better and better musicians.
Yeah. So was it ever really a problem for you when you might have felt like people wouldn't accept you for who you are because you're a little bit different from others?
Yeah. But it's not like unfair. It was totally fair. Like, I definitely was stiff. I was not fun to play with because I didn't have a great groove, or I didn't have great ideas, or I wasn't really as good at communicating musically as other dudes. So I never felt like it was discrimination unfair, ever. Okay. Ever. That's it was all like totally warranted. Like, I was always last call for a reason. I never want to give the impression like it was like an Eminem like story.
Okay.
He had a whole different kind of thing than from what I've experienced. What I experienced was genuinely that if you put the work in and you show people you're serious, then you're taken serious. And so I've been taken serious because I work at it, and I'm not trying to be like an appropriation machine. I genuinely love the music, and I'll make sure that I'm never going to try to take credit for anything that I play as if like I created it myself.
So do you enjoy more doing cover-ups or making your own music?
I enjoy doing my own music more. It's just more challenging to me. The covers I love doing as well. And there's a time and space for everything. It's just I've never made a living with my own music before. So that's why I'm doing it, because I just want to do it, you know?
So what do you think you could put in your music, your music, that could put you in a position where you can start making money for your music than what you're doing in cover-ups?
Well, so I'm releasing an album in January.
Okay, that's good. We need to know that.
Yes, the Human DJ will have an album out.
Okay. If you're looking for that.
The date is not set because I've had too many friends put these dates out and then they keep getting pushed. Hell, Kanye did it. He did 2 months. So I'm not going to throw a date out until I can tell you confidently that it's going to come out on that day. But it's going to be in January. And then that album is going to be 7 songs. I've already written them. And I'm going to record it in Boston, get it mastered professionally. And we're going to make this like a really awesome radio-ready project. And what I'm going to do is I've learned that one of the best ways to make money in music is to just be on the ground, just selling albums hand to hand. To kind of wait for someone else to make it bigger than that, I've never seen it work for anyone that wasn't extremely hot in terms of their talent or their looks or their kind of image. And I'm none of those. No one looks at me and goes, yeah, he should be on a magazine cover. And no one hears me and goes, oh, that's ridiculous. So it's because of that, it's just I'm gonna just go hand to hand as much as I can and just connect with as many people who have enjoyed my music as possible, and then just work to communicate with them so that they can know that with that purchase you're gonna get another album next year in 2020, and another one in 2021, and that can be my life's work. It's just making the best albums I can, whether they're for me or for other people. But at this point, they're for me.
Why did you move to Atlanta?
The real crux of it was cheap housing in the end. But it's really just because a teacher at Berklee mentioned this city, and I always kind of thought about it but I wasn't taking it that seriously, to be honest, because LA and New York are a lot busier. There's that much more people, a lot more going on. But it was one of those, I'd seen enough of my friends move to New York or LA and go broke. Because it's just inevitable. When you got that many people, it's the chances for success are higher, but the chances to not get anywhere are higher because your rent's higher, your time spent hustling to get the gigs is higher, your kind of energy in trying to stick out in the crowded field is a lot more. And in this day and age, right, you're now a TV show host because you want to. And you could have done this in Minnesota. So why pay the crazy rent if you're just going to be on the computer anyway? And that's kind of what it came down to. Is like, why kill myself trying to compete like we were doing in the 80s when today we got the computer and the internet? So there's no sense in me shelling out tons of money just to play the old game. So that's basically why I'm here, is because there's really no incentive. There's still an incentive to be in a big city. So I feel like this is kind of the best of both worlds. It's got the population, 10,000 people a year move here. So it's on track to become a city as big or bigger than Boston or Chicago at the current trend. And then there's a great rap hip hop base here. A lot of the new hip hop comes from this city. It's one of the biggest manufacturers. It's bigger than Nashville in terms of its impact on the music scene in general today. So it was between all those things, it made total sense.
So how long have you been performing on the street?
I've been doing this for a good 10 years. My act is 5 years old, but I played on street corners before that even.
All right, that's dope. How did you get so comfortable with yourself when it comes to performing in front of a lot of people that you don't know nothing about on the side of the street?
Well, so the way it works, in terms of public performance, and it's something that a lot of people don't ever get to this level because they don't do it often enough. But if say your job is to go out and do a public, like say you're doing a welcome to a theme park, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every morning you're supposed to go out and welcome people into the gates. The first day you're going to be nervous as hell because you're like, I don't know if I'm wearing the right thing. I don't know if I'm going to mess up the speech. Like, what if someone doesn't like it and they complain and I lose my job? You know, our brains are perfect at worrying and coming up with excuses or reasons to get stressed. So there's going to be like a good 2 weeks, right? You're going to go out in front of the theme park to welcome people in. You're just going to be a mess. You're going to kind of be like over anticipating the hair, all the different details. And then after a month, you'll memorize the script. You'll kind of go out there and you'll be like, all right, here goes again. And then you'll just become like a hollow delivering case. And if you go off script, you might get those vibes again, but you'll eventually just become this hollow, just shell, just doing a job. You go back. You almost care less what they think. You're like, just whatever. So then what happens is if for some people are unwilling to just become a hollow shell and go off the script and just be ignored. And that's me. When after doing it enough and seeing that I wasn't making an impact, then the game becomes less about doing it, but more doing what it takes to get it to happen. So that's why I play Lil Baby on the street. I play Chris Brown. Yeah. I'm always looking for edgy shit because I want to make sure. Can we curse here?
Yeah,
okay.
I
want to make sure before I drop a bunch. But yeah, I'm always looking for something edgy that like gets people's heads turning or gets people just going, oh, that's cool, or just something, just enjoy it, you know. So that's just really where it comes from. Is that I'm at the point now where I don't get nervous. Like I'll stand up anywhere and do anything. I don't care. But if I can get people to be engaged, I'm like, yes, we're doing something now. Unless that's happening, then it's just like I'll look for some way for that to happen. It's like I'm not capable of just sitting in kind of just bland nothing anymore.
Cool. So outside of, what's the difference between yourself as an artist and doing cover-ups outside of just doing the cover-up?
Honestly, not much. The real difference is that in my own music, I'm able to have a lot more detail into what the different parts mean, how it speaks to me, and because of my love of trying to make things just intenseful and intense, that the lines and the way that it kind of runs together is a lot easier for me to be like get people's attention and keep people engaged and to really give a passionate performance. When it comes to like covering Chris Brown, for example, I love Chris Brown. It's amazing. Let's just scratch criminal records. I'm not talking about criminal records, just music, right? Yeah. But just music. Chris Brown's incredible. The intensity in his voice, the kind of ability to really keep his phrasing to where it's just energetic. His just ruthless, like, I'm going to sleep with everyone. Just, I don't care what nobody thinks. I'm Sea Breezy. You can't mess with me. It's just intense. I can't get enough, right? It's like, so when I play his songs, I'm no Sea Breezy. I always do my best to get it, but it's like, there's not really a huge future in me doing Sea Breezy covers. It's just, I love doing it. I can do a song or two of his on a street corner, but then I need to go to someone else's song in order to keep it going. Yeah. So that's like the difference. That's what the difference is between me actually putting my own music out. Then I can really give a full Caleb Hensinger, the Human DJ show. But if I'm going to do covers, then you really have to disperse who you're covering or cover someone really well. But that's kind of weird. Yeah.
So who do you enjoy covering the most?
Oh, that's tough. It changes depending on what's going on. So like, I love Justin Bieber, for example, but he's basically gone off the face of the earth with his wife. And the last thing he recorded with the like country group was okay. Yeah. So he kind of like lost his mojo. Yeah. So that I have like 6 Justin Bieber songs I do. They're great. I'm not sure we'll ever get that Justin back. I think he might just be gone. And then in terms of new people, I love Wale. Wale's killing it. I'm learning on Chill. I thought it'll be a good one. Lil Baby's killing it. I'm always looking for new songs of his. His last album that dropped, I'm still really getting hip to all the different tracks. It takes me a while to really figure out which ones are like good and worth covering in my act. But yeah, I'm always looking for the new thing.
Yeah, we got he's performing for us too. We have a question for somebody in the audience. The first person to ask a question on Rich and Fave TV, the real TV.
Here we go.
Introduce yourself. Let them know what's going on, man.
What's going on? This is Xavier Diaz Hawkins. Got a question for the human DJ.
Pleasure.
The question is, human DJ, what do you prefer more? Live looping out on the street and being able to have that energy and unpredictability of not knowing exactly where you're going to go next, or actually sitting down in the studio, recording it, banging it out with a mixing and mastering engineer, and doing it that process? Completely different, more digital versus analog. What do you prefer more?
That's what's up. Just in case the computer hasn't heard it. He was just asking whether I enjoy tracking in a studio more or live looping, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Live looping, of course. It's energetic, and within like 10 seconds, you're just having a blast. The studio is tedious. There's no way around it. Even today, I spent a good 10 hours working on this song. Still not done. Still kind of lame. I have the recording on my phone. It's, and I'll spend even more time when I get home just finishing up, getting it as like nice as I can, and then I'm meeting with someone tomorrow to work on it even more. It's worth it. I'm not saying I don't want to do this work, but yeah, to have a loop done in 4 seconds and have a blast, that's a party. Yeah, no question.
And one last question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
What is your favorite spot you played in Atlanta so far? I know you're all around the corner.
So he's asking favorite spot to play. The favorite thing that happened, which is kind of irrelevant of the spot, was I played after the Lantern Festival. Uh-huh. And that was like the most intense show I've done here. It was the Lantern Parade was going on, and just as it ended, I set up and played along there. And we had like a giant dance party for a good like 3 hours. It was intense.
I seen on your Instagram you had people dancing out in Boston, like you had a huge dance party. Performing. So you normally do that often, huh?
Yeah, I'm always working to get crowds, and then it's one of those is once you can kind of get a couple people that are willing to let loose, just dance a little, then it's easier to join in. And I've got the tunes, so I can make sure we're going song to song to song, and then I dance as much as I can. I'm not great at it. I'll just keep people going.
So with your cover-ups, I wanted to ask you, do it like ties into how you really feeling? Like, you know how when you playing the trumpet and you doing the cover-up, and I watched you perform before, I could tell you got so much emotion. Is that like how you really feeling? Is that a way for you to like get out some type of like stress or some type of emotion?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. It definitely is like, not every cover at every second is the most intense, genuine cover. That's like impossible. But every time I play that song, I work to get that vibe and that energy there as intensely as possible. Obviously, there's some times, like I'm sure you know, this is like if something's happened in your life and you've got that vibe going on, when you play that one song, it's just that's what needed to happen. So there's some times where I'm like going out to play and something's happened, someone's stolen from me or some crazy shit's happened. Yeah. And so then a song will be less about them and more like that's what I needed. But I'll always make sure that every song I play is intense as possible.
Oh, that's dope. So you gonna come here tonight and you gonna perform for us, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So we got one more question for somebody in the audience, man. Matter of fact, we finna wrap it up. We finna get the performance, but we finna wrap it up, man. I really appreciate you coming out and being with us. I really appreciate your energy and all that. Hey, ask the question, and then we finna go into the performance.
Yeah, man. So what I'm going to base the premise the question off of is what has been your favorite experience from this? But one thing that I think that you can really provide in our city of Atlanta is you can really get people off their feet, man. When they're not expecting it, you can be on the street corner. It could be in the middle of the day, business people walking by, college students, everyone doing their own thing, and you get them to take a second look, take a break from their normally daily routine, get them dancing, get them moving. Mm-hmm. It's pure dancing and pure motivation. They're not drunk on the side of the street, that's why they're feeling you know what I'm saying? They're just there because they remember those songs, they appreciate what you're doing. And it's a very raw aspect, and the fact that you can make it extremely interactive. You got people coming up grabbing the mic to sing all the time, you got people trying to ask they can play in on the drums, and you'll take it. You know what I'm saying? It's completely interactive. I feel like that's a brand new experience that no one has ever even really seen. I'm a musician myself.
I'm on it.
It's a whole lot that you can provide, man. We love seeing you. Anytime I see you, I sit down and make sure I can at least.
I know I see you like many weeks.
But the basic question is, what has been your personal favorite experience with interacting with the city of Atlanta?
Oh well, I mean, those are some amazing compliments you just paid me, so thank you. I'm just glad that I can be enjoyed.
Man,
You know, I'm glad when
yeah,
the
we
cops
enjoy
don't
you,
run me
we
off.
enjoy you.
And y'all
Everyone
finna
in Atlanta does.
y'all finna see what we talking about too, cause he finna perform. So y'all gonna understand why we coming like this, cause this is a goal. This is the next
Go,
thing.
yeah.
Doing my best.
So answer this question though.
Yeah, no, of course.
All right.
So my favorite time playing here was got to be after the Lantern Festival. I set up when the parade was kind of like dimming out, and then set up there, and it was just a constant dance party for 3 hours. That was the most intense set I've had here. I've had some crazy sets though. I play on Edgewood Street. I play in Buckhead. I play on Peachtree, even like outside of here. So I'm always playing around, and so I've had many like intense moments. But that was
I'm
off the
sorry.
chain.
I'm sorry, because when you was talking about the tense moments, we finna have one now in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Performance. Yo, so look, let's get it there. Y'all ready to get that? Are y'all ready to get that?
Yeah.
Y'all ready to get that?
Yeah.
All right, so,
get it.
hey, thank you for coming through. And
Pleasure.
Give us a kick-ass performance.
Of course.
This your boy Richard Fake TV, man. We out. He got up too fast.
Oh, I got up too fast. Sorry.
This your boy Richard Fake TV, man. We out. Let's go.
This guy's killing it, man.
All right.
Tune in.
All right, here you go. A tornado. Bring it down. Sit down. Right. See if you know this one. Very superstitious. Right up against the wall. 20 mama baby. Right up against the wall. Shine that day. 20 mama Alright, shit, but it takes such a long time, but summer, superstition in the way. Alright, right, break it down.
Got the real one, 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 got the real one. Got the real one, got the real one in the building, yeah. Got the real one.
Alright.
Got the real one. Got the real one.
Alright, right. Break it. Turn it up. We started off as close friends, so now you turn into my girlfriend. We used to tell each other everything, and even bought each other diamond rings. Imagine everything, and everything was summer. And then you started on summer. I don't know what all your friends taught you. I ain't gonna lie, there's no hope, yeah. Say they like your mama, say like you did what I did, I probably wouldn't. probably wouldn't. Yeah, told you that I was lying. Told you that I was lying. Nobody else to stop my crying. Some people that did it, I know it was wrong. Yeah. Take me back to promise you did what I did, I probably wouldn't. Probably wouldn't. Take me back to promise you did what I did, I probably wouldn't. No, 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 no.
Break it down.
Yeah, baby, love what you made me do. Oh, baby, I'm dancing with a stranger. Oh, baby, love what you made